Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down complex topics into clear, practical guides.
So today, we're going to do something a little different. We're actually going to step into the shoes of a help desk technician. We'll tackle some really common security and software problems, but we're going to do it the right way, using a structured, professional approach.
So, before we even touch a keyboard, let's talk mindset. When you're an IT pro, you don't just jump in and start clicking around hoping for the best. You bring order to chaos. And to do that, you rely on a proven framework. Let's dig into the foundational 6-step troubleshooting model. This one's straight from CompTIA. Now, I know what you're thinking. Just another list of steps, right? But it's so much more than that. This is your mental toolkit. It's what takes that feeling of panic, when a user is freaking out, and turns it into a calm, clear process. It literally walks you all the way from figuring out what's wrong to documenting the fix at the very end.
And let's be honest, when you're under pressure, trying to remember 6 steps is tough. That's where a silly mnemonic can be a total lifesaver. My favorite for this one is, I eat tasty fish very delicately. Yeah, it's weird, but it works. It reminds you to identify, establish a theory, test it, formulate a plan, verify the fix, and document everything. Okay, enough theory. Let's put this whole thing into action with our first ticket.
All right, here we go. It's Monday morning, of course it is, and an urgent ticket just hit the queue from the marketing department.
The classic high-pressure scenario. First instinct, panic. But we're not going to do that. We're going to use our model. So step 1, identify the problem. And hey, the user actually gave us exactly what we need right in the ticket. That boot MGR is missing error. That's a huge clue. It's telling us, point blank, that the system can't find the key file it needs to start loading Windows. So what's our theory? What's the probable cause here? Well, the most likely culprit is that the boot sector, that's kind of like the ignition switch for your hard drive, is either corrupted or that specific file is just gone. This can happen for all sorts of reasons, maybe a sudden power outage or even a software update that went a little sideways. Okay, so how do we test that theory? This is where a handy what to do when guide comes in. For our exact error, boot MGR is missing, the #1 first action is to run startup repair. You get to this from something called the Windows Recovery Environment, or WinRE. The best way to think of WinRE is like a built-in emergency room for Windows, and startup repair is the doctor that can automatically diagnose and fix these kinds of boot problems. So that's exactly what we do. We run startup repair, it does its magic, and boom. We verify that the system boots up correctly. The user is relieved, they're ready for their presentation, and a total crisis has been averted. And notice, we did it with a clear process, not just random guessing. All right, feeling good about that fix, we go to close the ticket and, of course, the phone rings. And you can just tell from the tone of their voice, this person is worried. And there it is, that's the hook. The attacker immediately establishes authority, Microsoft Tech Support, and creates this fake sense of urgency. They're banking on that little bit of fear everyone has that something is secretly wrong with their computer. What we're hearing is a textbook social engineering attack. It even has a name, vishing, which is just phishing, but over the phone with your voice. The whole game here is to trick someone into giving up access. So really, the most important question here isn't about the tech, it's about the person. What should they do in this moment? Thankfully, our user gets that gut feeling that something is just off. They do the absolute best thing they could possibly do. They hang up and call you, the real IT department. And this just perfectly shows what the best defense is. It's not a piece of software, it's a healthy dose of skepticism. It's that mindset of never trust, always verify. So, we're about to document that phishing attempt, but nope, the day is not done with us yet. A new high-priority ticket slams into the queue. A user just admitted they clicked a strange link in an email. Oh boy. Okay, malware situation. What is the absolute first, most critical thing you do? You have to stop the bleeding. That means getting that machine offline immediately. Unplug the Ethernet cable, turn off the Wi-Fi, whatever it takes. Why? Because you have to prevent the malware from spreading to other computers. This is called lateral movement, and it's how a single infection can turn into a company-wide disaster. So now that the patient is isolated, we bring out another best practice framework. This is CompTIA's 7-step malware removal process. And again, having a structured approach like this is so important because it ensures we are thorough. We can't afford to leave any little piece of that infection behind.
And yeah, there's another mnemonic for this one, IQDRC, if that helps you. But honestly, what's more important is understanding the logic. For example, step 3, disable system restore, is absolutely critical because clever malware loves to hide in old restore points. You'll clean the system, restore, and bam, it's back. And that last step, educate the end user, you could argue that's the most powerful one of all, because that's how you stop the next crisis before it even starts.
Okay, deep breath. The boot failure is fixed, the social engineering attempt was stopped, the malware is gone, the day is saved, right? Well, not quite. There's one final and, honestly, maybe the most important step for any real IT pro: documentation.
Everything we did today, every single step, has to be logged in a ticketing system. And I know, it can feel like busy work. But it's not. It's about building what we call institutional memory. Just think about it for a second. The notes you took on that boot manager is missing error? A year from now, some other technician might get the same ticket. Because of your notes, they could solve it in 5 minutes instead of 2 hours. See? Good documentation does more than just cover your butt. It protects you, it empowers your whole team, and it turns all these individual fixes into a powerful knowledge base for the entire organization.
Because that's the real endgame here, isn't it? It's not just about fixing one broken device. It's about preventing the next crisis. And when you follow structured procedures like we did today, and then you document your work, that's how you stop being just a firefighter. You become an architect, building a more secure and resilient system for everyone.